Hi, Peter Thomson here, and welcome to the Economics of Innovation. So there's three things that I'm really interested in focusing on this month. First is empathy, which we've already talked about. The second is understanding. The third is creativity. So in terms of empathy, we're really just talking about putting yourself in the shoes of your user, really taking the time to get to know them, get to know how your product or communication fits into their world. The second thing is understanding. That means going beyond just empathy and listening and observation into really figuring out what is the value add, what is the core of what you want to communicate, and how does it add value to your user's experience into their life. So that's a very practical kind of way of looking at what it is that you're creating and what is the use that it has in their world. And the third thing is creativity. And so IDEO like to tell a story about one of their design team that were working on a new project for a hospital, and one of their designers took the leap to think, oh, well, why don't we kind of go and experience what it's like to actually be checked into this hospital. So he pretended to have a broken ankle and went and checked himself into the hospital, went through the experience of being treated for having a broken ankle. What he did a little bit differently though, so he took a video camera with him and filmed the entire experience. A little video camera held by the side of his head, running for the entire time. And it took about a day to get through the entire thing. And so the presentation back to the management team of the hospital was actually just a video with clips and a little bit of a time lapse of his experience of being in the hospital. So we got empathy in terms of the designer experiencing what it's like to be a patient. We got understanding and analysis by really taking that information, reflecting it back to the management team. But most importantly, I just defy you to be in the management team meeting, seeing a video, which in the end was actually just this guy sitting, lying in a hospital bed, staring at the ceiling for hours on end. Because that's what it's really like to be checked into one of these hospitals. Occasionally someone pops their head into the field, asks you a question, gets you to fill in a form, and then goes away again, and you're left again staring at the ceiling tiles of this hospital. So if you're in the management team working in this hospital and you're shown this video, isn't it true that creativity almost automatically springs to mind? You don't need a brainstorming meeting, you don't need to kind of have a creativity workshop or a session on how to kind of solve user issues. You actually just need to really viscerally get that experience. So that's why the key thing that I say to anyone in business is really go out and experience it for yourself, being a user of your product, because that will give you empathy, it will give you understanding, and it will automatically push you into creativity because you'll see things in new ways and you have to come up with new solutions.